Hey everybody. This is Nerdad back and we are playing Baldur's Gate 3. So last time, big moment, we unlocked Withers. We are still actually in Withers's Withers Withers tomb here. And he is still wandering around like a
Can't slow down.
I don't know, like a housekeeper with the bad skin problem. Um What we're going to be doing tonight is we are going to be heading back to camp, and we're actually going to be talking to Withers and respecking a large number of our guys here. In fact, we'll be respecting the entire party except for Nerdad himself, and that is actually super convenient because we are out of short rests and we all need to take a long rest. So yeah, we'll be heading back to camp right now. And it's kind of cool. The campsites change based off of where you leave to go to camp. So we were inside of a crypt, so of course here we are in a crypt. And I don't come here very often, so I'm gonna check this whole place out. See if I can light this candelabra. Oh, you sure can. Look at that. It's worth noting, too, that this Traveler's Chest right here, whenever you right-click an item and tell it to send to camp, this is where it ends up. So there's a lot of stuff in here that don't necessarily need, but was taking up a good amount of weight in here. So I will keep most of this here in the Traveler's Chest. I will definitely be sending a lot of my camp supplies over to the Traveler's Chest all the time. And let's see, yeah, there's a backpack over here. There's like a ball and mugwort. Yeah. I will actually take that backpack. It's not stealing because it's my camp, dang it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and grab this mugwort. We're going to grab this ball. Made a fun sound. And I will also be talking to basically everybody in here just to make sure that we're all good and we don't have any conversation stuff. But very first thing, of course, taking stuff. Filling out our inventory. Oh, actually, there's some water there. That's good. All right. Let's start up talking.
I've heard you can't get blood from a stone, but apparently you can get a wizard from one. Gale seems interesting.
We should get to know each other a little more.
Must we? No harm in a little mystery, don't you think?
So this is kind of Shadowheart's nature in being a trickster cleric, and of course she's not going to be a trickster cleric here in a few minutes, but she's very, very guarded. She's very roguelike in the way that she converses with you. We have to rely on each other easier if we knew each other as well.
Easier's often less interesting. Besides, we've plenty of reason to rely on each other already. You can't confide in just anyone about a monster in your head.
Maybe I'd like to get to know you better.
Sweet of you, but don't worry. I'm sure you'll get to know me just fine by traveling together. No need for interrogations just yet.
If that's what you prefer, I can respect that.
Thank you.
And we got some
I'm
approval
sure
from
we'll
her.
get along perfectly well.
What's the story with that odd little artifact you have? This is surely going to be a super smooth conversation, so that's not going to have any ramifications.
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
All right, what do you think of all that's happened to us so far?
We haven't gone all that far yet. What are you referring to exactly?
You must have thoughts about our little stowaways.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. We've no solid leads right now, though. We'd best get hunting. If you discover anything that might help us, I'm all ears.
Oh, the audio changed there just for a second. It looks like that was maybe a separate recording session there. What will you do if we actually manage to remove the tadpoles?
I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
No reason for us to not stay together if we get on well.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. If we do survive, we'll have separate lives to return to. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
I could try to ask her for more information here with this one, but I think I'm gonna, again, respect her boundaries. Just, again, she's got that, you know, like, trickster cleric way of talking. So, yeah, I'll do, seems personal. If I won't pry if it's not something you don't want to talk about.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought I was gonna get
And
some
you're
approval
right.
off of that.
It's
Alright, that's fine.
a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
How am I holding up in your estimation?
I must admit, you've been a surprise. And not an unpleasant one. Kindred spirits are few and far between for me. Besides, you saved my life aboard the Nautiloid. How can I do anything but sing your praises?
He keeps on harping on that, like, a lot. Alright, we'll go ahead and leave, and we'll move on to, I think it's Astarion is sitting over here.
Need something?
He is beaten up. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, what's to tell? I'm a magistrate back in the city. It's all rather tedious.
Oh, are you Astarion? Alright, we'll leave him to it. But there is a glass chalice down here that we'll go and grab. Oh, empty blood bank jar. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a little weird that he's got a mirror. I mean, why would that be weird? That's not weird at all. Everybody has a mirror, right? And we'll go ahead and save and talk to Gil.
You're not versed in magic, are you?
Of course I am. I'm infused with the powers of my oath.
Oh, I do apologize. I meant to ask, are you studied in magic? Namely, are you a wizard? Which you are not. If you meet any elder wizards, let me know. There is a matter I'd like to seek advice on from a master. How can I help?
Is that it for Gale? Yeah, tell me a bit more about yourself.
Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, city of splendors. I am a wizard of
I love this voice
considerable
actor.
acclaim and
That's
scholar
so good.
of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry. There.
Oh, let's see. What should I do here? Don't stop there. You have many stories to tell about your adventures as an archmage. Want to know more than your hobbies? Can you tell me something about the real you?
Certainly. That I have a great respect for privacy, for instance, especially my own.
That's good. I am always so leery trying to pry into people's minds. I always feel like it's going to go really poorly, so I'm going to hold off on that. And we'll go ahead and leave there. All right, cool. Conical flask and an ink pot and quill, separatory funnel, crystal ball, all kinds of stuff to pick up. Look at all this. Running basket, see what's in there. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff you can grab in your camp. Let's see what's in the door over here. Actually, I kind of know what's going to be in the door over here. And there it is. Of course, we're going to check out everything around here. Make sure there's nothing that we need to grab. Which I don't think we will. Oh. Magic mirror. So from what I understand, this magic mirror is actually something pretty new in the game. It's going to allow you to change your appearance. I think. This seems change your appearance-y. Yeah. I might change his voice, actually.
Where to next? Let's hope the locals are friendly. Hells, something just woke up. Be wary. This place is trapped. It's opened. More of those wretched things.
Where to next?
What was that?
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Hells, something just woke up down here.
Voice 7 was a little bit too high-pitched and magey for me.
Be wary. This place is trapped. It's opened.
Voice 3 seems pretty good, though.
There's magic. Where to now? What was that?
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Yeah,
Be
let's do
wary.
voice 3.
This
I think
place
that's
is trapped.
I think that's lower, a little bit more gruff, a little bit more harder on the edges. We'll do voice 3. Cool. So that solves a huge problem that I had. Good. So far, nothing really to gather up in here, but we will check all of these rows of books just to make sure. Yeah, cool. And then we're going to save, and we're going to start our big, long process with Withers here.
We meet again, as predicted.
I'm glad that he
I
predicted
shall
a
be here
5-minute
in
later
thy
meeting.
camp, for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Oh, not to be rude, but what are you?
There are many answers to that question. None are important.
Again, the voice acting, like this is just such perfect like motion capture and voice acting. It's so good. And I don't know how they did it, but like they made this skeleton's eyes look like the kindest, most gentle eyes you could ever possibly find on a skeleton. Skeletons aren't supposed to be able to talk. Yeah, let's check out this wisdom thing here. Oh, and it's a DC 20. Here we go, 20. Aw, that's sad. What a shame.
There is a great divine energy indeed, but the source is unclear.
What kind of services can a skeleton
A
offer?
mending of the threads between life and death. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more.
That's incredibly powerful magic. Why is it so easy for you? And look very ugly doing it.
Because it is my calling. There is little else to explain.
You mentioned a cost. What is it?
A matter of coin.
It is a little crazy that, you know, this ancient skeleton with, you know, immense divine energy flowing from it is like, I need some I need some cash. That's outrageous.
Such is life. Outrage leading to a singular end.
That is such a wonderful line. Such a wonderful line. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and leave now, but we now have Withers ready to change class. So what we're going to do is we are going to get
Can't afford to
Shadowheart.
Stay idle. Let's try
And
this way.
Shadowheart is going to come in here. So I have been thinking a lot about Shadowheart, and typically what I would do is I would have Shadowheart be a ranged character, and that way I have 2 melee characters and 2 ranged characters. But I think with Shadowheart being, you know, one of our higher AC characters, I think we're going to have her. I think we're gonna have her be melee. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Because again, she is gonna have like a lot of concentration spells that I want to kind of have her out of the melee to concentrate on. So I'm not totally sure. If y'all have an opinion in chat, like pop it in chat. But let's go ahead and
Another.
go ahead and move on.
Thy name has been recorded.
Actually,
I shall be here in thy camp, for whenever thou hast need of my
look at those eyes.
services.
They're just so tender and loving. Yeah, care to explain why you're helping
Be
me?
assured, it is not by choice.
Oh, that's a snarky comment. Prefer if you'd leave. I am going to hold off on that, and I am going to go ahead and leave. And I'm actually going to do Astarion and Gale first.
Moving.
And maybe I'll change my mind on Shadowheart by that time. So we'll see. Go ahead and save.
Ah, I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Can you help change the
As
class?
thou desire.
Oh, I need to do a check on the gold that I have just to get a feel for what we're looking at here. I know it is. So, all right, in the chat they're saying, yeah, it's fine to have a high AC range class. That is super true. That is super true. But I almost feel like the AC is wasted on something range because it's just not going to get hit as much. It's just not. But at the same time, like Gale is sitting there with an AC of 16, just like Shadowheart and just like my freaking Paladin. So maybe, yeah, maybe there's something to that. Maybe there's something to that. All right, so definitely keeping Astarion as a rogue. Oh, and something I did want to pull up was a list of the feats that we've got in Baldur's Gate 3. So bear with me here. I might even share my screen here. The reason that I am so interested in the feats in Baldur's Gate 3 is because a lot of these feats have a... Yeah, okay, so yeah, foes do have bows and magic too. That is definitely a good point. But even still, like with a lot of the magic that's going to get cast on the ranged people, that's going to be saving throws that my guys are going to have to do. And yeah, the bad guys do have bows. They do have bows. I think really, and for all this, it comes down to I do want her constantly concentrating on a spell, like whatever spell it is. But I think we want her to be concentrating. And that means that she does need to be ranged. And I mean, not only that, but the fact that she's going to have a high dexterity anyway is going to mean that her AC is going to be naturally higher. So I think you're right. I think I just need to commit. All right, so anyway, what I was saying before is that there are a number of feats in the game that will increase a certain ability score by 1. And so typically what I would do, I'll tell you what, let's go through this first. So Rogue, we're sticking with a Rogue, and then his abilities. We're going to go ahead and clear this out. Don't want to use that recommended though. That's kind of weird. Ah, there we go. Okay. So the question is I can keep different abilities at as low as they will go. So I would keep like strength and wisdom and charisma. Actually, let me undo that. Because I really don't care about Astarion having intelligence. Like, I think canonically he is an arcane trickster rogue, but I am absolutely not going to do an arcane trickster because a thief rogue in Baldur's Gate 3 is so good. It's so good. And the reason that it's so good is because it gives you an extra bonus action, which is not the case, absolutely not the case in tabletop D&D 5th edition. But the fact that in this game it does get an extra bonus action is almost reason enough to have many of your classes multi-class into 3 levels of rogue just so that they can get that extra bonus action. An extra bonus action, like 2 bonus actions per turn, is so overpowered. And let me, okay, you know what? I'm committed. I'm gonna talk about this. So the extra bonus actions, the 2 bonus actions per turn that Astarion is going to get here, what that means is that he's going to be able to use his cunning expertise to dash and get extra movement and do a hide all in the same turn, and also still get an attack in. That also means that he can have his normal movement plus 3 dashes. It's insane. It's insane and not right and overpowered, and I hope they never, ever, ever nerf it because it is so good. Anyway, so all that to say, we are not going Arcane Trickster with Astarion. Definitely not. And so what that means is really Astarion only needs dexterity. He does not need intelligence. He does not need wisdom or charisma or anything like that. Because he is my scout, I will be cranking up his intelligence and his wisdom a little bit just for the investigation checks and just for perception checks. But here is the question. So if I keep 2 scores at 8, so let's say I want to keep strength at 8 and I want to keep charisma at 8. And let's say I'm gonna crank up dexterity as high as I can put it. And then I'll go ahead and crank up Constitution, because Constitution's always important, and then we will crank up Wisdom as well. So this is actually a pretty standard layout as far as ability point distribution goes, especially if you're trying to min-max hardcore like I like doing. Because you're going to have 3 8s, you're going to have 3 15s. But then you can go through and actually assign a +2 and a +1. So... And here is the issue, is that leaves 2 abilities on an odd number, and I want to never have abilities on an odd number because you literally get no bonus from having your stuff on an odd number. You only get bonuses on even numbers. So, for example, Constitution right here, this gets you a +3. No, sorry, a +2. This gets you a +3. Just by this. But the dexterity, if I have this at a 16, it's a +4. I keep on saying that wrong. A 16 is a +3. So this is a +3, this is a +3. And it does get us a lot closer to getting that +4 on dexterity. But even still, I have an issue with that. Here is another big problem. Since we are picking up absolutely everything that is not bolted down, we are going to end up in the situation where we actually do want a good amount of strength that is distributed amongst our party members so that we have plenty of extra carrying weight. So I don't think I'm going to be doing the min-maxing layout in this. My nose is itching, y'all. So if I'm itching my nose, it's not because I'm gross. It's just my nose like itches a lot. Allergies? I don't know. So anyway, it is worth noting that for rogues, like most classes need 2 ability scores to be functional. Rogues only need dexterity. Wizards only need intelligence, and they're kind of unique in that. So it is almost going to be worth. Yeah, definitely. I'll assign that bonus on Dex. But this kind of goes back to my original point, and is that there are at level 4 and 8 and 12, I'm gonna have the option to put in 2 points into ability points, and ideally I'd put them all into dexterity. Or instead of doing the ability scores, you can also choose a feat, and feat are little bonuses to the way that you play the game in some particular way. And a lot of the feats have a bonus to a single ability score. Like, for example, there is a feat called Athlete, which allows you to increase your strength or your dexterity by 1. And then it also has the feature that, when you're prone, standing up uses slightly less movement, and your jump distance also increases by 50. So what I need to do is I need to look at things like that and look for feats that might be opportunities for me to just get an extra dexterity point here and there while also getting a really good feat option. And to be fair, I should have looked at this beforehand, but I didn't, and you're going to get to look at this with me now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try... Let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and share my entire screen. I'm going to go off camera. I apologize. You won't have to get to look at my... Oh, wait. No, it's a horrible old boldface. So we want to look at that. But I am going to transition this over to a full screen, and we're going to look at. All right. So I just heard that the microphone cut out whenever I switched over to complete screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of talk through some of these things a little bit, and I will, while I'm talking through them, I will go ahead and add in a voice capture here. Oh, and actually, that should be done. So can y'all hear me now? And let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me okay. And apologize for the technical difficulties. Every now and again you get glitches like that. So, but that should have fixed it. Let me know if you don't. So what I was saying is, I will not be using actor. I will not be using athlete, even though if I were doing more yo-yo healing, where I just go down and up and down and up and down and up, that would be nice to get up from prone and not use up as much movement. The extra jump distance seems like it is good, but I think we're fine with the jump distance being what it is, especially if I have one character, which is Nerdad, who is very proficient in athletics and also has a really good strength score, so that shouldn't be super necessary. Let's see. Ah, good. The sounds like the mic is fixed now. Good. Durable is really nice, but I think that'd be really good on my paladin. So it would have been nice if I had, and maybe I'll respec Nerdad eventually and make it a little bit more efficient. But I'm pretty happy with the way things are. All right, let's look again here. Okay, so heavily armored. I'm really happy with the armor that everyone has at the moment. So I don't feel the necessity of giving anybody heavy armor proficiency. So I'm going to leave that, but heavy armor master, decreasing the damage that is coming in, like the non-magical attacks that are coming in by 3 while you're wearing heavy armor is a great deal. But again, this is a really, really good one just for my paladin. I wouldn't want that for really anybody else in the game. So maybe I made a mistake in the way that I spec'd out Nerdad, and I'll think about respecing him in the future. All right, next up, you gain proficiency with light armor. Strength or dexterity increases by 1. Again, I'm not super down with adding armor to anybody, or I'm pretty happy with where everybody's at. In fact, I think with the party makeup that I have, everybody's already proficient in light armor, so that's not even a thing. Same deal here. This is armor proficiency with medium armor and shields, and then strength or dex increases by 1. I'm not going to change that up. Musical instrument proficiency and charisma increases by 1. Under no circumstances am I taking that. That is not worth it. And then proficiency with 4 weapons of your choice and your strength or dexterity increases by 1. This could be nice eventually. I don't really need that too much. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and transition back to the actual game with my face on there. Okay, so back to the question at hand. Whenever I get my first feat, I could, instead of putting both points into dexterity, just put 1 point into dexterity and 1 point into wisdom, or whatever it may be. And that would absolutely work, because that means at level 8, I'd be able to get my dexterity up at 20, which is absolutely where I want to be at level 8. So the thing is that at level 8, if my dexterity is 16, I would still be at level 20, which is where I want to be, but I would have a little bit more leeway with some of these other points. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread my stuff a little bit more evenly. Let me go ahead and clear this out, and we'll check this out. Okay. Well, okay, so yeah. Crank that up to 15, and we will do like 14 and 14 on wisdom and intelligence. I do want Constitution up pretty high. Maybe I'll decrease wisdom. No. Actually, other way around. I would want wisdom at 14 and intelligence at 12. We'll put Constitution at 14, dexterity at 17. I need to decrease that a little bit. So that still gives me plenty of space to work with. Put his strength at 12. Put his charisma all the way down, which I don't think really totally fits Astarian's actual character style, but we'll do it anyway. Again, Astarian is gonna be one of my grabby hands characters, so he's gonna be grabbing a whole bunch of stuff. I want him to have a little bit extra carry capacity, so I'll put his strength up a little high. Dexterity definitely at 16, constitutions, yeah, where I want it to be, and then wisdom at 14. Yeah, I like this. We're gonna take a quick look at his skills. And what this is going to come down to is I want every single one of his dexterity abilities to be, I want him to be proficient in them, and that is absolutely the case. He does get a whole bunch of extra skills as well. So what we're going to do here, I might have him be my deception guy. Oh. Oh, this is expertise on that side. Okay, I got it. Yeah, inherited from background, inherited from race. I do like the idea of having expertise and perception, but a +4 will make me plenty happier. Athletics might be good to have him being able to jump a whole lot. Oh, I definitely want investigation. Okay, so that's one of my points. I'm never going to have him talking, so I'm just going to go ahead and do athletics. Since he's already got a little bit of, a little bit of the strength going on. And I'm dumping his charisma stat, so yeah. We'll go ahead and confirm that, and I think Astarian is done now. Oh, and now we level him up. And again, he gets his cunning actions. We've talked about this before, so we're good on that. All right, next up is Gale.
Might as well.
I think Gale's gonna lose his Raven whenever we respec him, but that should be fine. Go ahead and save and talk to Withers.
I shall be here in my camp.
Help me change my class. All right, so wizard again. And selecting cantrips. Okay, so this is always a really challenging thing to do with wizards because they have so many good options. Firebolt is actually really good in Baldur's Gate 3. Firebolt isn't necessarily my first option. when I'm playing like tabletop D&D. In tabletop D&D, the advantages that Firebolt has is it is a very damaging cantrip. It's a 1d10 versus like all the rest of them are like 1d8s. Let's see. Does that even say? No, it does not. That's really fascinating. Or like even 1d6s. I think Ray of Frost is a 1d6, but Firebolt, it doesn't have any extra effect. It just straight up does damage, so it's a 1d10. Largest damage that you can get out of a cantrip. Well, asterisk is not necessarily. Yeah, the bird is going to go bye-bye. I'm going to bring it right back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Find Familiar is such an important spell. I will absolutely be bringing that thing back. But Firebolt in tabletop D&D, the big, huge advantage of it is that it is like 120 feet of range. It is... You can just freaking snipe people all the livelong day before they can even think about getting in range of you. That is not the case with Baldur's Gate 3. It's an 18-meter thing, so it loses a lot of its functionality. So Firebolt is definitely out. The other thing that in Baldur's Gate 3 it is really, really good for is lighting things on fire and... Whoa, exploding. Oh my gosh, what is... Gale's having a seizure. Oh, that was weird. Did y'all see that? Poor guy. So anyway, Firebolt, really good for lighting things on fire, really good for exploding things like grease. But Astarion comes pre-equipped with Firebolt, so I'm not gonna worry about that. We have Firebolt from other sources. My options are Bone Chill, which prevents the target from healing for a turn, which is a big deal. So Bone Chill is always a really, really high priority for me. Poison Spray is not a high priority. This is... It really is just a poison. Poison just limits the amount of stuff that you're able to do on a turn. Acid Splash does a little bit of damage, but it is acid damage. Not my favorite thing either. Ray of Frost is a really, really good option. It is less of a good option in Baldur's Gate 3, just because typically in like... I keep on hearing like the bonk that means I've got a chat, but I don't see a chat. Oh well. I'll pay a little bit more attention to it here in a little bit. So in tabletop D&D, Ray of Frost halves someone's movement, I believe, or halves the target's movement. In this one, it only reduces it by 3 meters. That's not great. That's not great. So Ray of Frost is pretty much out. Shocking Grasp is a great cantrip as well. It is a melee cantrip, but if it connects, then the target can't use reactions, which means that Gale can get the heck out of there without risking an opportunity attack. And it will also have advantage on creatures that are wearing metal armor, which is a shocking number of things. Ha ha ha, a shocking number. I would say pun intended, but I'm not that clever. So Shocking Grasp is probably something that I'm going to take in at level 4 when I can grab another cantrip. Again, in tabletop D&D, you can go through a whole process of having your familiar deliver these sorts of melee cantrips, but that is not the case in Baldur's Gate 3, which is a big unfortunate thing. Blade Ward, you take only half damage from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing attacks. This is good. It's not worth your very, very limited cantrip slots. Friends is another good one. This is advantage on charisma checks, but I'm not going to have Gale be the face here, so that one is definitely out. Dancing Lights just provides illumination. Light itself is pretty good because it's like a permanent torch that lasts until a long rest. I have enough characters with dark vision that I'm not gonna bother with that. Mage Hand is really good, but the problem that I have with Mage Hand is you can only do it once per short rest. That severely limits Mage Hand's ability. And especially when you have like a limited number of short rest, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Minor Illusion is fantastic. Minor Illusion is a cantrip that whenever you cast it, it will distract basically everything around it, and everyone will go and check out the Minor Illusion if you do the right Minor Illusion. So this is good for a couple of reasons. You can kind of position enemies exactly where you want to. You can also get them super set up for an AoE spell, like Grease. Or if you need to distract people that you want to steal from, it works really well for that. Just all in all, really, really good cantrip. And if you're ever playing tabletop D&D, Minor Illusion as a cantrip in tabletop D&D, it doesn't like instantly distract things, but it is a super, super useful cantrip. So yeah, I recommend that. And then True Strike, gain advantage on your next roll. This one sounds really good, but you are wasting an action where you could be attempting to attack something to get 2 rolls of the dice next turn. That is not worth it. That is absolutely not worth it. So this is not something that I will be taking. Minor Illusion is definitely getting taken. Bone Chill is definitely going to get taken just to prevent targets from healing. And that leaves us with 1 empty spot. I might just go ahead and take Shocking Grasp. Really, the only other option here is Mage Hand. Which, again, the limitation of it being, once a short rest is rough, but Mage Hand is pretty useful even still. So I think we are going to take that. Yeah, we'll take that. All right. Then we go over to the actual spells. Witch Bolt is definitely out. I've talked about these spells at length, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it right now. Fog Cloud stays. Find Familiar gets added on. Disguise Self gets added on. That should be good. We're going to get another level here, and we're going to get another couple spells, and that'll help fill us out. But the other spells that we'll be interested in are going to be like Long Strider, Tasha's, Shield, definitely, stuff like that. Featherfall is another really good one. Another thing that I can think about whenever I'm thinking about this sort of preparation is knowing what scrolls are going to be available so that I can kind of pre-plan what scrolls I can learn stuff from. But in general, whoa, and Gale's having another seizure. Oh, poor guy. That calm him down? Yeah. Maybe that's a, that might be canonical, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna be really happy with this set of spells right here, so we'll leave that. And abilities, so we'll go ahead and clear these again. Intelligence, definitely going to be one that I bring up to 16. Constitution, I'll also bring that one up to 16. How far can I get up on this? Not super far. Actually, I'm going to take Constitution down to 14 and get his Dexterity up to 16. Because again, Gale will not be wearing armor. He will have Mage Armor cast on him. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I know that Mage Armor is a spell scroll that is going to pop up, and I can kind of manipulate hirelings to cast Mage Armor on him. So I'm gonna leave that alone, and I will give him Shield instead. Anyway, back on this. So Gale will have Mage Armor pretty much constantly cast on him no matter what. So that's an extra 3 AC, and then he'll have another 3 AC from his Dexterity on top of that. Plus he'll have a shield in his hand that will give him another 2 AC, which will just give him, I think at this moment, the highest AC in the party as a mage, which is ridiculous. Which is just ridiculous. I'm going to put his strength up to 10. His wisdom is charisma. I really don't care about too much. I'm going to crank his strength up to 12. Give him a 14 on that, and then his wisdom and charisma stay at 8 and 8. For him, I like focusing my party members on their one focus stat. So what Gale is going to have here is definitely investigation. He's got his history, he's got arcana. I'm gonna go ahead and get him with, oh, can't do that. And get rid of his persuasion, and I'm gonna put, ooh, nature or religion? I think we'll do nature. Oh, we can do both. We can do both. That's great. Ideally you want, again, their focus stat. So in Gale's case, this is intelligence. I want to have all of those abilities, or sorry, all of those skills associated with that ability to be proficient in, just so I have one person like kind of organized in their swim lane. So yeah, I'm happy with that. This right here is all of the intelligence abilities. So yeah, we will leave Gale with that and confirm. And Gale also levels up. We'll get him up to 2, get those extra couple spells that we need. And it does default to the evocation subclass. If you want a more detailed discussion about the subclasses for wizard and why I'm going with divination, check a couple of episodes ago when I break Gale down when we first got him. I think that was episode 3. I'll check and confirm. All right. So again, here, Longstrider I think is a scroll that we can get pretty easily. So we're going with Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Featherfall would probably be a good one to stick with. I think it comes down to Longstrider, which I'm not going to take. I can manipulate hirelings to give me that one. Enhanced Sleep. I think it is going to be Featherfall. Just because jumping is so important in Baldur's Gate 3, Featherfall, what it does is it gives you immunity to falling damage, so you can jump from whatever height you want and not take any damage. Just because jumping is so important, I might do that. Although, actually, I think I'm just going to go with Magic Missile. So, Magic Missile is a really important one because it is 3 independent darts, they call them, and they always hit. This is really good for knocking out illusions. This is really good for trying to break concentration. This can be a single target thing. It can also be kind of like a pseudo AoE thing, depending on how many things you target. So, Magic Missile, it's pure damage, which, as y'all know, is not my favorite thing in the world. But as far as damage stuff goes, this is a really good one. And then Tasha's basically knocks a creature out of the fight for as long as they don't save, and they only can save whenever they take damage. So this allows you to kind of pre-position yourself in really, really manipulative and horrible ways. So yeah, we'll be sticking with that. And prepared spells, I do not need Disguise Self right now. I always want Grease. I do want Find Familiar ready to go. Fog Cloud is not something I want right now, but I will do Sleep. I will do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And again, for more discussion on these spells, check out, I believe it's episode 3, whenever we first got Gale. I discuss at length these level 1 spells. So check that out, and be sure to like and subscribe. Alright, so Gale is done.
Let's get on with it.
So, chat, is it official, or are we doing Shadowheart as arranged? Is that where we're going with this? I sound like I'm not happy with that decision. I'm actually super happy with this decision, but I always question if that is the correct way to go about doing it. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and save, just in case.
Fate,
and
although
same
thou
deal.
dost not seem to be in need of my services. No, thy coin purse is near empty.
I'm out of money. Oh, crud. Let me see what we got here. 60 gold. Oh, man. That's embarrassing. Tried to cash a check and the check bounced. It's okay. It's not great. It's not great. It would be nice to have Shadowheart as a life cleric. That's the big thing that I want to change with Shadowheart, is make her a life cleric. I can live with it. So let me check out Nerdad's character sheet and just kind of take a look at his stuff. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I think we're good to go.
What to do? Have to keep going.
Need another 40 gold. I have a ridiculous amount of stuff right now that I will be very, very happy to be selling here pretty soon. So we'll get that. In fact, might prioritize selling that stuff here pretty soon, just so I can have enough coin to make that change with Shadowheart. All right, cool. I think that is it for the night. We're going to go ahead and do a long rest. And this is our first long rest. And actually, let me talk about long resting. So every long rest, you get 2 short rests. Short rest will give you 50% of your hit points, and there are also a couple of other things that recharge on short rest. So, like, for example, paladins can channel their oath. Those charges recharge on a short rest. So that's a really good way to do it.
I applaud.
Let's see. Channel divinity for clerics will also recharge on a short rest. So stuff like little minor things like that will recharge on a short rest as well. But you only get 2 of those per long rest. And long rest is really interesting because it will reset your hit points and all of your spell slots and all of your short rest charges, but it will only do that if you have enough camp supplies, which we do at the moment, but even still, we will make sure to use those appropriately.
Go to hell.
Not very nice, Gale. And a good evening to you, too.
Ha! You're a good
got some
sport.
purple off of that.
Go to hell. An everyday expression. So trivial it's almost meaningless. But we've seen hell. It's real. And it isn't trivial.
What's on your mind, Gale?
Devils, dragons, mind flayers. They used to be abstracts. Pictures on a piece of paper. What a difference a day makes. Now we have tadpoles slithering through our heads like carnivorous feti. That's not abstract.
You don't often hear the word feti. I'm not too worried. We'll find someone who can help us.
That's the spirit. Let's be up with the lark. Find a healer before the wee one gets hungry.
Surprised we don't have headaches from having that tadpole like sleuthing around as much as it is. All right, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and go to bed. Oh, someone in camp still wishes to speak to you.
I've seen everything.
Let's go speak to her then.
What were you two talking about?
Nosy. What do you mean?
You and Gale.
We were just discussing the next steps.
I see. I'd be careful with Gale.
Shadowheart just doesn't trust anybody, I swear. You like to stir things up, don't you? Stop looking for trouble and stay focused. I agree. It's she doesn't like Lacelle, doesn't like Gale, doesn't like anybody. If anyone has me concerned, it's you. You haven't exactly been open about yourself. But we'll go ahead and do You Don't Trust Gale.
He's a wizard. All they care about is power.
And books.
Let's hope we rapidly find a healer. You seem reliable. I think you know how important it is that we find someone who can cure us. Best if we focus on that.
Let's see. We'll do agreed. The sooner we find someone to help us, the better.
Good.
Oh,
We might
got
even
2
get
approvals off
lucky
that.
and find one right away. As I see it, we're overdue some good fortune. Rest well.
All right. And with that, I think we are done with everybody that wants to talk to us. All right, so long resting is pretty great because what it does is it takes all of the stuff that you have accumulated over your travels, so like things like foods and fruits and vegetables and fishes and meats and stuff like that. Each one of those has a certain like camp supply value to it. So like this right here, for example, is a wine that has a value of 1 camp supply. In order to do a successful full long rest, you have to have 40 camp supplies. These supply packs actually are straight up just 40 camp supplies, which is really great. But other than that, you can just auto-select. It will do pretty close to 40. This is actually the first time I've ever seen it do exactly 40. So sometimes you kind of have to select things and unselect things as you need in order to get... You want to get as close to 40 as you can, just to be efficient with your items. So we'll go ahead and we will full rest. Everybody does a sigh of relief. All right, cool. And with that, we are all finished here. Anything else I can loot while we're at it, though? I see, yeah. Wine goblet. Glad I checked. Grab this hourglass. Grab this ink pot. Grab all this incense. Man, there's all kinds of stuff I needed to grab. Iron bowl, that probably weighs a lot, though. Let's see. Anything else good? How about anything over here? Nope, doesn't look like it. Alright, I think we're good. And we'll go ahead and leave camp. So that was our first long rest, and we are back inside of the crypt. With that, I think we're actually done with the crypt. Let's check out this room off to the side here. Oh, and I need to grab these boxes again. Almost forgot those.
The air is ripe with magic.
Pick up. Stop jumping around. There we go. So it is pretty nice because Gale as a human has some extra carrying capacity, and we did give him a little extra strength, so he actually has a full carrying capacity of 200, which is the same as Nerdad, which is exactly what we wanted. So yeah, that let me go ahead and organize all this by type. Actually, I could probably send all this stuff over to Nerdad, but I'll hold off on that for now.
Onward.
Let's check out what we got in here. Oh, and I don't want to get up front.
Blood? No, never mind.
Ahaha, yeah, I did need to come in here.
Looks like someone wanted to bury us.
Let's get that candelabra lit, and there is this right here.
This book is far lighter than it should be with such a massive lock.
Channel the magic spark of your oath through the lock. Let's get guidance going. Good, good, good. I like the sparkly pages on this book.
A loose page comes with it. Magic pulses from the parchment.
Looks good. It's almost like
What was
a
once
shimmery,
script
oily
is now
look.
an obliterated scrawl. You have a sense these are names, a list. But of what?
Ooh, yeah, let's see if we can get something happening here. This isn't going to be good, but... Ah, hey! Got a lucky roll. Good.
Gods. These are the names of gods.
Oh, got some approval
once
from
lost,
Shadow
but
R2.
now restored after the Second Sundering. The last 3 names in this book sit close together, but are so devastated by the scroll as to be unreadable. Entire pantheons have dwindled and been reborn, silently recorded by this book.
So, in the Baldur's Gate series, anytime that you see three gods sitting close to each other. It is it's the three sundered ones or whatever. It's Ball and his two brothers or whatever they are. But yeah, like the entire plot of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 revolves around Ball. Oh yeah, so we're gonna pick that book up. And I did check that chest. Check this out. Oh yeah, lots of good stuff in there. Got another soul coin, which is good. And I think that is it for this area right here. What else we got? I think we got nothing else actually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and go to the roadside cliffs. All right. So the next thing that we're gonna be working on here is we need to get Lae'zel. Well, actually, I have a shovel now, so I may as well grab this dirt mound while I'm at it. Oh, and hey, look at that. Nerdad is over encumbered. So let's look at weight, and let's transfer all of this stuff. We'll move it over to Gale, because Gale has the space. The weight space, I should say.
So, do you have loves waiting for you once this is all over?
You know what? That is not the easiest of questions for me to answer.
You mean just waiting? Like a lovesick puppy? Short-term amusements are much less hassle.
Jeez Louise. Yep, we've got a shovel, so we're going to go ahead and dig up these dirt mounds. Could have done that a little bit earlier. Yeah, got web, and there's a scroll of sleep. See, a little bit of extra planning. I could have known what these scrolls were, so I didn't take those spells when I was with Gale. And dirt mound right here. Oh, and hey, there's a trap disarm toolkit, oddly enough. All that effort to get one of those from that guy. Although, funnily enough, I think we got that shovel from that group of like treasure looters that were on top of the dank crypt. So would have needed to grab that anyway. Cool. Now let's go investigate the rest of this area. Oh, and we can go ahead and get rid of this note.
Baldur's Gate. Food. Freshest fish I've ever had.
I don't care for fish. Red meat, now, that's a different matter. Rare as can be. Dripping.
You're being
Well, unless we
super
find a
subtle.
cure, you won't have any teeth to chew it with soon enough.
Being super subtle, Astarian. Super subtle. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so with this conversation right here, I have to be really, really, really careful.
Of course it's dangerous. One of them carved up
I'll let this conversation play out first.
So let's leave it.
And let the goblins have it? No. We take it to the grove.
So I have to be really careful with this conversation here, because if I mess up, they will take Lae'zel, and my only option will be to fight them. But if I fight these guys, it'll be a violation of Paladin Oath. So I have to set it up so that I have an optimal outcome where they chill the heck out and leave, and I can still get Lae'zel. So with that, I'm going to save.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, and twice as ugly.
The thing's
so crazy.
dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, A guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
I like how all of the other characters, when you have like the tadpole connection, they're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, did you see that? Oh, goodness gracious. But Lae'zel's like, I am using this for my own advantage right now. All right. Yeah, so this is communicating with Lae'zel right here. Don't worry, I'll get them out of here one way or another.
Your words flow to her, though you never speak them aloud.
I know what grows inside you, and I know of a cure.
Remember how keen she was to leave me to die in the Nautiloid? We can't trust her.
So one kind of crazy thing with Baldur's Gate 3 is they do not shy away from racism. Like, everybody hates the tieflings hate the Githyanki, just everybody hates everybody else. It's a little brutal. It's a little brutal. All right. So right here, this is the option I gotta go with. It's a deception roll. I'm not proficient in deception. Never really anticipate having to use deception that much as a paladin, much less have a paladin option that is deception. It's a little odd, but hopefully we should be able to get this. It's only a DC of 10. We are going to add guidance in there, and hopefully this comes out okay. That did not come out okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use inspiration. Inspiration is like a free extra roll. You get that from fulfilling like plot things associated with your background. So we found the Book of Dead Gods just a little while ago. It has a list of the names of all the dead gods, and I don't know, I didn't point it out at the time. But, for example, Gale, who is a scholar background, got inspiration for that because that was something that was meaningful to his background. I've gotten a couple of points of inspiration so far on Nerdad. I'm going to go ahead and roll again so I can try to get this. There we go.
He's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
A blast? I could use more specifics.
You didn't hear it. Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
No idea what that was. All right, I'm in dire need of healing. Where is this camp? Oh, and yeah, this is an auto win unless I roll one. It is worth noting, so whenever you're attacking stuff, you know, a 20 is an automatic hit, a 1 is an automatic miss. Doesn't matter what your bonuses are, it's automatic on both sides. Larian Studios did the same thing for skill checks like this, where if you roll a 20, it's an automatic win. If it's a 1, it's an automatic fail. But this is actually not what tabletop role-playing D&D 5th edition does. For a good reason. And I actually think this is a major misstep in their case. So let's say you come up to let's say that you're, you know, a pretty strong character and there is like a large boulder that is in your way. You need to move it. Like a typical mortal, no matter how strong they are never ever going to move this large boulder. It's just not going to happen. It is way outside of what you can accomplish with a strength even of 20, which is the max you can go as a player character. So that means that the difficulty class on moving that boulder is going to be something crazy like a 40 or something along those lines. Just something utterly impossible to do under normal circumstances. So even if you rolled a 20, you add all of your bonuses, you could still at most get up to like 30 or something like that if all the dice and all the bonuses and all of your, you know, like guidance all roll into your favor. So you would never hit that DC of 40 ever, and you shouldn't be able to. But if you have it so that it is an automatic success whenever you roll a 20, you'd be able to move that boulder if you just so happen to roll a 20, and that's it's not realistic. It doesn't work. You can't do that. You just can't do that. Same thing with rolling a 1. This one isn't as obvious, but it just follows the same logic. Like if you have enough bonuses, no matter how poorly you roll, it'll still be a success. So I don't like that decision by Larian Studios, but that's like just about the only one in a long list of, okay, yeah, actually did a really good job. So anyway, yeah, I got a success on this.
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
She's so cranky. Say please.
Never.
Got some approval from those two. Oh man. Oh, lazy.
Observe and listen. You'll hear goblins before you see them.
As you say.
That not Oh, it did. Not all the damage it needed to. Okay.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
They hate each other so much. Alright, and what exactly? Well, a simple thank you wouldn't go amiss.
You may as well suggest a wyvern bow to worms. The cure I offer will suffice as thanks.
Oh, Lazel. And what exactly is a creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a Gaith tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
I swear. When she says we have to report for purification, that does not sound like a good thing. And especially given how cranky and pragmatic she is. Let me just say I have my doubts there. Alright, we journey together. Let's find this creche.
You are full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
Oh, I have bad news for you, Lazel. Listen, wait at my camp. We can speak there.
Very well, but heed my words.
Hmm.
The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it. I will be at your camp. Do not keep me waiting.
Alright. I got a short bow down there. And a dragon egg mushroom. Alright, and with that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream for tonight. No, what we're looking at next time is we're going to go ahead and finally head to a place where we can sell all of this stuff and get a little over 100 gold so that we can actually respec Shadowheart, and we'll be doing that next time. We'll also be jumping into advancing the story quite a bit with our first settlement. But cool. Thank y'all for watching. And this I would like to say this goes without saying, but it doesn't go without saying. If you do enjoy this content, be sure to like this particular video and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. So thank y'all and have a good night.